guys back at it. Mr. C's Corner, Thursday, April 2nd, Throwback Thursday. Throwing it back to my high school, my college days. Blink-182, always a go-to for me, one of my favorites. Shout out TCNJ Lions football, baby. Throwing it back. So today we are going to be doing a business lesson. We're going to be diving into business management and management functions while discussing the different levels of management. Before we get into today's lesson, Dow Jones yesterday was down 4.4%. S&P was down 4.41%. And your EQ today is, how are the management functions displayed at every management level? Well, Mr. C, what are management functions? Mr. C, what are management levels? Mr. C, what's management? All right, I got you. We're going to work through this together. So, first off, we're going to start is, what is the purpose of management? The purpose of management is to set goals for the company and to help meet those goals as efficiently and as effectively as possible, as quick and as painless as we can. So, but first, that's the goal. But let's define what management is. It's a process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. And there are also four main functions of management. Can you name them? I just did. They are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So we're going to define each one of those. I'm going to have an assignment for you. Then we're going to be talking about the different management levels. So we're going to dive into it. I'm going to be referencing Mr. C's Corner because it's a new venture for me, or a new business for me. So I'm going to be referencing this the entire time. Planning. I define it as the process of creating goals and objectives as well as the strategies to meet them. So, me, planning. I plan the day before. I also plan the morning of to make sure I am giving you the best content as I can. I spend different amounts of time on it depending on the lesson. But yeah, that's planning. Making sure you have something in place to hit your goals and objectives. Organizing. Pretty self-explanatory, but let's define it. Getting the resources arranged in an orderly and functional way to accomplish goals and objectives, right? So, like me, I have a script. I'm organized. I'm making sure I follow a certain process in a row. I did it. I'm organized because I planned to be organized. See? Last one, leading, or third one, leading. Providing direction and vision. It includes setting standards, delegating work, enforcing policies, and resolving conflicts. So so it's providing direction and vision. So it's all up to me and my producer to kind of lead Mr. C's Corner to kind of direction. Main purpose is to bring you content, business content, continue with your education in a fun kind of way. But fortunately, it's not that fun. All right, so that's how I lead. Controlling keeps the company on track to meet goals. It involves several tasks like monitoring and customer satisfaction. So I monitor my customer satisfaction by the likes I get, by the views, and I make sure that I can control as much as I can control in regards to the content that I deliver you. So those are the four. We got planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So assignment 1 is recall a time when you had to manage a task or you had to manage something. Reflect on it and write down how you process these four functions. Right, 4 functions: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Gave you an example of my own. Now provide an example below of your own. Now, there are 3 different basic levels of management. There's all these other kind, but we're just going to go really, really basic so we have a good understanding. So top level, right? Responsible for setting goals and planning for the future, as well as leading and controlling the work of others. They're mostly like CEOs, like top business owners, like people that, like, as a worker, I really don't want to talk to because it means I'm in trouble or something. But they are like the very, very tip of the top. Middle management, they carry out the decisions of top management, so their bosses, responsible for various departments. They wear different hats. Kind of think of it as, if you work, think of it as your direct boss or the regional boss, I'll say. And then operational management. This is your direct boss. I was getting confused there. This is your direct boss. So middle management is your regional boss. Operational is your day-to-day. Responsible for daily operations of the business. They're supervisors, office managers, crew leaders, People that come up with your schedule, make your schedule, making sure everything's, you know, up to certain kind of standards, making sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, etc. You know these people. So some of you may work. I know some of you do work. Grocery stores, restaurants, nursing homes, etc. So you have managers that set your schedule and tells you what to do, right? So what level of management are they? Kind of said that to you earlier. They're day-to-day or they're operational managers. Yeah, so they like I said, create your schedule, and then they will report those earnings to their regional manager or their middle management, and then that middle manager is in charge of entire territory, and all these other operational managers are reporting to him all these figures and what have you, and then he goes and then brings it to top level management, and then they can make decisions based off of that, right? Pretty self-explanatory. So let's relate it to something that most of us should know: The Office, right? Michael Scott. So let's talk about the top end first. David Wallace. Yes, I'm not ruining anything. This has been out for years. David Wallace is a CFO or Chief Financial Officer of Dunder Mifflin Paper Company. We'll say that he's top management. Michael Scott is a regional manager, and he reports his entire office's sales figures and what have you to David Wallace, his boss. And then Michael Scott has he's kind of a dual function. He is both operational and middle management. But then we'll just say the individual salespeople are their own managers, right? We'll say that like Jim Halpert is the operational manager. He handles the day-to-day for his clients and his like workload. He handles that day-to-day. Yes, I had to throw in The Office. If I'm ruining this for you, this has been out for 10 years. You should have plenty of time to binge watch probably the entire series in 3 days. Now that we know all this, now that we know the different examples of top management, middle management, and operational management, now we know all these functions at each different level. Now we can relate it to ourselves. But before we do that, personal question: how do good managers lead by example? What makes a good manager? Think about those characteristics, put them below. I'll tell you my own example of the management that I do. I do the day-to-day as my classroom. I manage my classroom. That's my operational or my day-to-day, how I'm an operational manager. Next one, middle manager. I report right directly to my boss. He's the middle manager, and then he'll report directly to the top level or the superintendents of the school district. So that's how it is for a teacher. How is it for you? That's about it. Wrapping it up today. Gonna throw back one more. Your last question or your bell ringer before we're done is: in what ways in your own life are you the top level, mid-level, and day-to-day manager of your life? That's it. Throwback Thursday. Use your Shazam to figure out this song because it's a good one. Blink-182. This song is how I feel about you. Hope you're all doing well. Throwback Thursday. See you tomorrow.